Howdy folks, next overlook module that I would like to take a look at here is this one right here. It is the ADDAC 301 or ADDAC, I'm not sure how you say that, but ADDAC, their 301 module, which they also call the Floor Conrol module. And this module has a very simple function. It's designed to integrate pedals like these. Here I have a dampener pedal from a keyboard. This one is made by M Gear, which is actually a division of M Audio, but they all basically work very similar. And then I have an expression pedal here. This one happens to be a Roland, but they all basically work the same. And this one also has the built-in potentiometer here. We'll take a closer look at that in a minute. This one also has the polarity switch on the bottom. We'll take a closer look at that as well. But over here on the module, you can see we have two inputs. This one is labeled expression pedal, and this one is labeled sustain pedal. Excuse me, I can't read today. So expression pedal and sustain pedal. I'm going to go ahead and plug those into their respective jacks. Then if we look up here, we see a few outputs. And then we see a couple of potentiometers. And we're going to go over more of what the potentiometers do in a minute. But for now, I'm just going to set them both approximately in the middle to start with. And this one here, this bottom one, correlates to the dampener pedal. So what I'm going to do here is I've got a couple of these current detectors here. I'm just going to plug one into there so you can see what I'm talking about. We'll grab this. And as I click that, you can see a gate is sent. So if I hold it, it stays high. When I let go, it goes low. Now, as I mentioned before, this one has the polarity switch, so if I flip that, you can probably guess what's going to happen. Now, it's high, and when I click it, it goes low, so that might be useful for something like maybe you're using a VCA to allow some modulation to pass, and then you want to cut the modulation and then let it come back or something, I don't know. But you could use that for various things as well. But in its typical... and by the way, not all damper pedals have the polarity switch, but this is the normal, or kind of designed way. When you step on it, you get a gate signal. Then above that, these two correlate to the other pedal. So I'm going to go ahead and plug that in, and I'm going to go ahead and move this one up here for now. So you see right now, as it sits right now, we've got a positive voltage on one and a negative voltage on the other, and hopefully you can see that okay on the camera. I'm not sure how bright they're going to show up, but as I go to the pedal here and move it, you can see they sort of move to the opposite position. So at the upper part of the pedal, this one is in the negative and this one is in the positive, and then at the lower part of the pedal, it's the opposite. So basically you've got a bipolar swing on both. Okay, now if I take this potentiometer that's built in, and again, not all of the expression pedals have those, but if I turn that to maximum, watch what changes now. It becomes a unipolar pedal. So when I do this, we get from 0 to full signal, positive and negative respectively. Now this top one here, this top thing allows us to increase the range. So I'm not sure if the camera will be able to detect this, but as I turn that up, I can certainly see here these LEDs got a lot brighter. And then as I go back, I can still see just a little bit of light in the LED because I've changed really the range of the output. So we're going to get a stronger output set like this. And if we go back to the other end on the potentiometer, then you can see where we've got the bipolar. Even so, the bipolar, we're getting a stronger or brighter LED there. Okay, so that's kind of cool. But this is where this module really becomes interesting. This here allows me to offset how the potentiometer, because it's basically a potentiometer inside of here, right? This knob allows me to basically offset how that is determined. So let me show you what I mean by that. Okay, so if I have the pedal all the way in the open position here, all the way in the up position, and I turn this one here, and I'll turn it to the point that that light goes completely out. So right about there. Okay, so now there, when it's open, we've got no signal on this jack. You can see we've still got a signal on this jack. We've got no signal here. But now as I move the pedal, what you'll see is we've got unipolar on one jack and bipolar on the other jack. So it allows you to get two different control signals So if you were controlling something that just needed positive voltages, you could use this one. And if you had something that would accept positive or negative voltages, you could use that. So you could use this as two different modulation sources with one pedal, which is really kind of, I think, one of the hidden gems of this pedal. Now, consequently, we can move this over here as well and do the same thing where we can get a negative signal on that top jack and still have the bipolar on the bottom jack, if that makes more sense for your particular modulation needs. And then, of course, if we go back to the middle, like before, we get the bipolar signals on both jacks. So it really has a lot of really neat usages. Very cool module, and again, you can scale back that range of the pedal if you want less voltage. So maybe if you're doing something like a filter and you didn't want a whole lot as you did this, maybe you're trying to do like a wah kind of effect and you didn't want a whole lot, you might dial it back a little bit so you just get a little bit. I'm not sure how well that's going to show up on the camera, but I can certainly see it here. So this is a very neat little module, very cool, allows you to do a lot of cool things with using foot pedals. You can just start to think of a million different options here. You could use the trigger out here from this one to, you know, like for instance, I could use it to capture something in the phonogene or the morphogene and do like a loop. You could use make it use almost like a loop pedal, or to trigger a certain thing that you want to do, or start a drum machine or anything like that that might make sense. Drum sequence, I should say. And then, of course, you can use these to do things like control filters, or, you know, add a different amount of wave folding or something like that. And then again, with the ability to change the polarities, you can really do a lot with just a simple module. And here's the best part about it. Guys, this thing is $77 brand new. So it's a relatively inexpensive module. $77. It does a lot, and it looks kind of cool being red. It's just a neat little module, and I feel like not a lot of people really have appreciated this as much as they should. But here you go. This is the ADDAC 301.